In a collaboration, especially if you're an author on a picture book, you have to be willing to give up some control. I'm Bruce Rule, and I'm learning to thrive in the gig economy. Would you like to learn too? I'm a writer and an editor, and I recently put out a book on how to write and deliver a eulogy called Heartfelt Goodbye. And every week I offer tips on how to survive and thrive in the freelance world. And this week I want to tell you a little bit about a discussion that sort of turned into a little bit of an argument at a children's literature writers group that I attended for the first time. I don't write children's picture books, so I didn't really want to intervene in the argument, but I did speak up because I thought I could add a little bit of value to it. And what happened was the author of a picture book, or proposed picture book, offered her draft for critique. And we read it. It was all right. It was, it's a draft. And one of the other people in the group, whose focus is illustration, she's an illustrator, said, you have too much description in your text. You don't need all that description on what people are wearing and exactly what action's happening, because that's sort of the illustrator's job. They're going to be illustrating all that. And the writer said, I'm not allowed to say this. I'm not allowed to describe. This is what I want. I'm not allowed to tell them what to draw. And the illustrator said, you got to understand, the illustrator has probably got a better idea on how to illustrate the book than you do, because you don't have the experience or the knowledge of illustrations. So you got to let them do their job, their part of the collaboration. And believe me, it's probably going to be better than what you think, and it's probably going to be better than what you might have imagined. But this writer was not letting go of the idea that she wanted complete control. I should be allowed to tell them exactly what I want on every page. That I should be allowed. It's my story. And the discussion sort of turned into a little bit of an argument and sort of went off and sideways where there was going to be no solution to it. But I spoke up, even though I don't write children's books or illustrated books. But, I've been in a newsroom for over 40 years, 35, 40. And that's all about collaboration. No writer gets to just write something and send it out. You always have editors looking at it. You always have top editors. You might have another reporter who adds stuff into your piece. And my philosophy on these things is that the best thing to do when there's more than one person involved is focus on your strength and let the other person focus on his or her strength. Now, in the case of a children's illustrated book, what that writer should be doing is just focusing on the text, cutting out the text, anything that needed to be done to the text, right? And let the illustrator worry about the illustrations. Shouldn't even really be thinking about it, honestly, Once the text is perfect, best you can do, then you turn it over to the illustrator, see what the illustrator can come up with. Then you look at both and you go, oh, well, maybe you can change this, maybe you can change that. Maybe you have a suggestion for the illustrator. Maybe the illustrator tells you don't actually need that in the text. I don't know. I don't know. But the point is, when you're collaborating, you should be focusing on what you do and what your strength is, and let the other person have the freedom to focus on his or her strength. Now, of course, this is about children's books. That's what we were talking about. But the fact of the matter is, it's in any collaboration, because making a book or doing a project of any sort is going to be a collaboration at some point. Say this writer does insist that the illustrator draw everything exactly the way the writer wants. Unless that writer is going to be self-publishing and designing the book cover herself, there's going to be collaboration. because at some point she's going to have a book cover designer. And at some point, if she goes to an agent, the agent's going to have some feedback for her. And at some point, if the agent does sign her up and goes to a publisher, the publisher's going to have some feedback. So, you're going to have to be in a mood of collaboration. Now, you can do it all yourself. That's fine. And it happens. But the fact of the matter is, if you just focus on your strength, you're going to get further. That's the way I look at it. What do you think? I'd be curious how you handle collaborations, if you've done them in the past, or what your philosophy is about collaborations. And please comment down below, because it's an interesting topic, and I think it helps if we start to change the mindset of people a little bit when it comes to collaborations, because I think that'll be better for everybody involved, and I think it'll produce much better work. So like and share this video, because that'll help getting the message out, and subscribe, because that's something that YouTube really wants us to do as much as possible. And until next week, take care. Bye.